Good morning, At Properties. It's Thursday, March 26th, and we're here this morning for another session of Coffee with Amy and Kevin. I want to thank all of you for joining us these past several days and appreciate all of your emails and feedback. Please keep them coming, and we want to make sure we continue to bring you valuable and timely topics every day.
Yeah, thanks, Amy. Good morning. Hope everyone has their coffee. Exciting topic today, and this is something that we've gotten a lot of suggestions about too at adcoaching@adproperties.com. And we know it's a question that a lot of us have if we're working with buyers and sellers right now, and that is in terms of closings and title companies. And so we have a special guest today, Kim O'Donnell, who's joining us. But we're going to talk about how title companies are continuing to work and how you can still prep your clients in terms of closings with any of the changes that are coming.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Yep, we're excited to welcome Kim O'Donnell. She's VP of Business Development at Proper Title, and we've asked her to join us today to give us some insight into what her team is doing at Proper to ensure that they have the ability to close deals safely and efficiently in this new environment, you know, as we're all trying to adapt right now and work under the new provisions in regards to COVID-19. So welcome, Kim.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here talking with all of you guys today.
Awesome, thank you. So tell us a little bit about your role at Proper, and then also tell us how you and your team are working with attorneys and brokers right now to make sure that their buyers and sellers are continuing to be able to close their transactions smoothly.
Sure. We have 6 people on our sales team, and right now it's communication. That's our big key. We are in contact with our attorneys and our lenders proactively. We're not making sales calls. We're reaching out to the buyer's attorney, the broker on the buyer's side. Again, we just want to make sure that everybody is aware of the changes in the procedures. And so our big job right now is communication. And there's a lot of people in each party to communicate with. So it's keeping us really busy, but you know, we're happy to accommodate.
That's great. Thanks, Kim. Good morning. I wanted to ask, because this is the overarching question, the umbrella question, is, you know, will title companies continue to operate? Because with the shelter in place, I know there was a lot of fear. And we're talking specifically about Illinois now. I know that other markets have changed a little bit over the last 48 hours, but specifically in Illinois, will title companies continue to operate? Absolutely.
And please rest assured that we are considered a financial institution, like a bank, and we are not closing. So, you know, it's some changing times, but we have put, all of the title companies have put processes into place to make sure that things run smoothly. But rest assured, we are closing deals. We are closing just as many deals. So not a whole lot has really changed. There's been some minor changes, but yes, we are operating just like always.
Great. That's good to know. I know a lot of people are really, you know, just kind of concerned with all of this stuff happening in this changing environment. So candid question for you. We've always said that the value of Proper Title versus other title companies was the service and speed that you were able to offer the consumer at the closing table. You know, how are you seeing that now in this environment? Are you still feeling like you're efficient, you're able to close deals smoothly? Where are you guys at with that?
Actually, I feel like we are more efficient than we were before. And our closing times, I guess, were under 45 minutes was our average. But now we are able to send all of the documents out in advance to both the seller side and the buyer side, and everyone can pre-sign. So the way the process that we put into place, I mean, we can, if everything runs smoothly, we can finish a closing in 15 to 20 minutes versus under 45 minutes. So, and we can talk more about some of the processes, but as far as turn times and speed, that is not an issue for us right now.
That's great. So let's talk about specifically the closings, right? Because over the last couple of weeks, things have continued to progress and change. So let's talk very specifically, you know, it used to be that everyone would attend a closing. Who should be attending a closing now?
So just so everyone knows, we can still do an in-office closing. You know, that is not an issue at all. You know, we are asking people to please be conscious of who's attending the closing. We really would just prefer to only have the people signing the documents at the closing. I've seen the consumers on Skype and on FaceTime with their attorneys and their lenders. If everybody's available, they don't need to attend the closing. They can stay safe and, you know, self-distancing, but we only really need the people signing to attend the closing right now.
So Kim, tell us a little bit about the different types of closing options that are out there. I know I've heard you briefly talk about curbside closings, what those look like, how much are you doing electronically? And, how do you also determine the different types of closings, like who can do curbside versus somebody who does maybe have to come into the office to finish any of their paperwork?
Sure. Some of it is we're just taking the direction from our clients. Some people feel much better about coming into the title company, and that is okay. But we are also offering what we call curbside closings. And again, what that would be we'd send out all the documents in advance. The buyers and sellers could go through all the documents with their attorneys, with the lender. And then at one of our office locations, people can actually drive up at their scheduled appointment time and just bring the wet docs that need to be signed and notarized. We will have a closer come out and review the wet, look at the wet signatures, look at the package, make copies of the driver's license, which is still very important to bring with you. And then we can actually get all the information there. We can bring it, package in, make sure we have funding authorization with the lender, and then come back out and let them know that their transaction is ready to fund and that we are good to go. But the keys to all of this to run smoothly is, a big key is keeping your appointment time that is scheduled. We want to space people out, so if people do want to come in, we don't have too many people in the office at one time. The closings curbside have been running very smoothly. We can do them at all of our offices except for our downtown Loop office. We've decided to close that office just for safety reasons. It was recommended to us by our underwriters, and I know that a lot of other title companies have done the same thing. So at Irving Park, Bucktown, any of our locations, those are the two in the city, Libertyville, Highland Park, Northbrook, we're happy to offer those services, and we just need to call in advance and schedule it. And if everybody shows up on time, it should be seamless.
Sounds good. So there were a couple things that we heard over the last couple of weeks. We know that with the shelter in place and with different things happening, there are sometimes government or municipalities that are closing their offices. Mm-hmm. So specifically, we had heard about water certs, we'd heard about transfer stamps. How are we dealing with that if those government offices close?
So we are fully prepared. We know which ones are open, which ones are closed, because we are still a financial institution. It is business as always, and we have workarounds. So with one of the things that's a title term we call gap coverage, which is basically just covering from the time the deal closes until the time it can record. It's very important that there aren't any liens at that point. So we are offering insurance to cover those, to cover that time period until the county can record again. But a lot of them, actually most of them, I think except for Lake County, is accepting e-recordings. So we are able to do e-recordings as well. And we are not charging for this gap coverage. You won't even know about it. We do it all the time and nobody even knows.
That's great. So, we're all adapting real time right now with the day-to-day changes, the things that the governor is putting into place. The nice thing is that we all are able to continue to work in this environment right now. Are there any creative things that you have been seeing happen right now as far as getting deals closed?
Well, there is talk that we will soon be able to do a full RON closing. And what RON means is a remote online notary. So it is available in other parts of the country. Hopefully it will be available in Illinois very soon. There was word that it could happen yesterday, so fingers crossed maybe today. But when that happens, we will be able to do closings completely online and remotely, and no one will need to come to the table. So that could happen soon. But again, what I see the most of is a lot of attorneys are getting power of attorney, so they don't have to worry about their client signing anything. So that's ideal if that's available, to get a power of attorney. Again, my next suggestion would be, if they're open to it, just to do the curbside, not to come into the closing. But if they want to, again, that's available. But as far as the municipalities, we can work with zoning. We have waived our zoning surcharge. We are only charging which we're waiving our $175 fee. We're only charging for the zoning, which is a fee that we're passing on, which is $250. We can hold a TI for water. They're still doing meter readings. You know, anything that could be delayed, we can pretty much fix with a TI. So I haven't seen anything yet that was an issue that we couldn't close.
Mm-hmm. And explain to everybody TI, just to understand that
I'm sorry.
term and what they're using.
Title indemnity. So, you know, at the end of the day, when it comes to title insurance, everything can be fixed with money. And so it's holding money back. And so, you know, as an insurance company, we just want to make sure that we're covered. We want to make sure your clients are covered. And sometimes we just need to hold some money back at the closing just to make sure that that happens. And so, and sometimes it might be a little bit more than the amount. We just need some cushion, but we will return all those funds. We're not looking to keep anybody's money. We just want to make sure that we can get the transactions closed. And if it takes holding back money for the water until the water department can get out there, we're ready to do it.
That's great. So really some great stuff, being able to hold the money back using, you know, TI, as you had mentioned, RON, which is remote online notarizing, right? Being able to do that remotely as well. Some really great stuff that we're going to be seeing. So we've talked today specifically about proper title, but if an agent is closing at another title company, what can they do to ensure a smooth closing, you know, really as much as possible?
Sure. You know, for the most part, it seems like we are all adopting the same practices, but I really do recommend going to the title company's website or contacting the title company. Maybe they have closed certain offices. I know some have closed their downtown office. I know First American's closed a few, so I would really just call in advance to see what their procedures are. Again, most of them have them on their website, or even the attorneys. A lot of times the attorneys have strong relationships with other title companies and they are fully aware of the processes in place. So I would recommend calling, but everybody is operating as normal.
Got it. Well, thank you so much. I think, yes.
I was going to say, the one thing that most title companies too are also asking is that everyone sign a health form, which basically is saying that, you know, to the best of their knowledge, no one in their house is sick or could possibly have coronavirus. We send the form in advance. It needs to get sent back to us, but it could even be signed via picture on your phone. So we're trying not to make it complicated. We also have DocuSign. So that's the one thing that we are asking, and most of the title companies are asking, is the parties to sign just a health form saying to the best of their knowledge they're healthy.
That's great. Thanks so much, Kim. I think this cleared up, and hopefully it cleared up everyone's questions, at least the most pressing ones. I want to stress, if you do have questions about things that are happening, make sure you reach out to your attorney, and then also you can reach out to Proper Title as well. Or if you are closing at another title company, make sure, to Kim's point, that you understand what their processes are, where their offices are, what they're, you know, they're open. But thank you for joining us. I want to stress again what Amy said at the beginning. Yeah, make sure that you send us any of your feedback, your questions, any topics that you want us to cover. Of course, we can't cover everything on this, but we're getting some really good ideas that at least we can respond to and include in the future at coaching@atproperties.com. So that's atcoaching@atproperties.com. And thanks again, Kim. Thanks for joining us for coffee. Hopefully we can do it again soon.
Thank you so much.
Kim.
It was a pleasure. Take care.